Okay, here we go.
Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Loose Change Podcast, where we give you our 2 cents on random topics, whether it be entertainment, things that you want to hear, things that we just want to talk about. I am
Things
your
your mama and your auntie might want to hear.
You're annoying. I am your co-host. D might never go to another Jets game again, because, boy, every time I go, people is hurt, and they end up getting blown out.
Oh, it's my turn?
Introduce yourself, sir.
You know, my name is your auntie's favorite entree.
So dead.
President of the Light Skin Committee.
Done.
A.K.A. Kevin, A.K.A. Mr. Brucey P. A.K.A. Like I said, your auntie's favorite entree. Today we're going to get started, man. We got like
Couple good solids.
Some really good topics that we're about to tackle, I think. I'm going to let you take it off.
Okay.
Start off.
So, there's been a lot going on in the world of sports, namely all running around one person, Antonio Brown. It just doesn't end. We kind of been through this, but I'm going to just give you a little light rundown. So, the ending of last season, your boy didn't want to be on this team anymore because he felt like he was a slave and everything was running around one guy that was being considered outdated to him, meaning Ben Roethlisberger. He finds his way out. He gets traded. He goes to the Oakland Raiders. He wanted a big deal. Pittsburgh wasn't going to give it to him. Oakland gave it to him. Oakland gave him like about 50-something mil, 30 of it guaranteed. Over the course of training camp, which is probably like about a month or two, he realized things probably just wasn't how he figured he would like it to be. So now he starts making a big scene, talking about, I want to get a new helmet. I want to wear my old helmet. I don't like these new ones.
What?
When the league let it be known for years, these helmets are going to be changed. You're going to have to get one of these types and just get used to it. He's the only one who made a big scene out of it. All right, fast forward now. He ends up getting suspended. No, sorry, he ends up getting fined by his general manager because it's like, dude, you're here to play football, and you're not playing football. He takes that as a slight because in his contract, if he were to be suspended or fined, he could have his whole contract voided, which ended up happening. So now he makes a big stink because he's like, now he's working pretty much paycheck to paycheck, game by game.
But everybody who's ever thought about playing or who ever played professional sports knows there are clauses in your contract to avoid you earning any of your guaranteed money. Like, no one's just going to be like, okay, here, you can do whatever you want now. I'm still going to have to pay you.
Well, granted, but not everybody else not everybody has common sense. Not everybody just thinks like, hey.
Clearly, this is obvious for him.
Right. Well, So, your boy ends up asking to be released. He gets released. And he ends up going to the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. So we thought, all right, done deal. The fix is in. They're going to win another Super Bowl. Amid all of this going on, his former trainer says, nah, I was raped by him, sexually assaulted. And from there, all kind of news gets aired out. Text messages, emails, all not looking good for this dude. And in the process, they play him still. They play him for a game. And he scores a touchdown. So you think, I'm living the life right now. You see him celebrating like, yeah, man, big man on campus, what's up? And then literally he got fired on his day off.
How you get fired on your day off, Craig?
On Friday, he was released by the team.
Oh,
but the funny thing is, he brought up, so the owner of the team gets caught in a parlor shop in Florida with illegal girls getting all kinds of, specific jobs done.
That's wild.
And nothing happens, but yet he has allegations against him, and he gets let go. But what you don't realize, boy, he's an owner. You're a player. There are levels, and you just don't make it to that level, as bad as it is. He's the reason you getting checks, or was getting checks. My question to you, as this whole thing goes full circle, Does he have a point to make a stink like that? And does he have a beef? In the sense of, how come whenever I have allegations, I get dropped immediately and I look like the bad guy, as opposed to the owner who was caught on video with these girls with sexual explicit things being done to him.
That's not the same thing.
Owns the team.
That's not the same thing, though. It's not even about levels to this. It's about two completely different situations. Like, they wanted to do those things to him. She didn't want to get down in the bed. I don't know the case. I'm just taking it as you're saying it to me. I'm assuming that because you're saying they were performing on him. I'm assuming that's by choice. Was it by choice?
No, it's one of those illegal. It's one of those illegal
sex
parlors, like a massage parlor where you go in. It's like,
and you can get a happy ending.
Want the happy ending?
Yo, that's still their choice. Like they don't have to give you the happy ending.
It might not be, because in some senses you're working there and your boss will be like, look, whatever these people want done, you're doing it.
That's speculation, though.
Well, most of them were illegal.
So they know what they're doing, though.
Kind of.
You're working there, unless even if it's like, okay. Here's the difference between that situation and his situation.
Okay.
He knows she doesn't want it, right? We can argue all day about whether those women are willingly working there, whether they're illegal immigrants who are brought here and forced to pay off a debt for getting over here by doing this. So it's technically not what they want to do, but they're doing it because they feel.
Your air freshener just spit at me.
Gotta stay clean. But we can speculate because we don't know if they're actually like working off a debt, so it's still technically forced, but they're doing it because they in their heads, I have to pay this off, versus being violently raped. like have your head stuffed into a bed and like just raped. Dude. And then having a sexual advancement you don't want. You're going to a brothel where these women pretty much are there's an unspoken understanding that some sexual may more than likely will happen as an option if you want it, right?
Okay.
Because it's not like they're just gonna randomly just whip his dick out and suck it. I'm pretty sure it has to be more like if you're saying it's like one of those spots where it's like the massage thing, it has to be like requested or hinted at, you know? Mm-hmm. And even if they have to decide whether they're gonna do it or not. He held his trainer down and violently raped her is the accusation. Those are two completely different things.
Very true.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And the funny thing was, amongst the rape charge originally, they were standing by him. They released a statement saying they were standing by him. Mm-hmm. It's not till the second chick came out, they was like, okay, nah, you gotta go.
No. Oh,
you gotta go.
You don't even know.
No, all I know about is the artist that from the Instagram artist that came to do art pieces in his crib, and he made unwanted sexual advances at her, and the trainer. That's the only thing I know.
So apparently, over the weekend, I guess this is probably why he got fired or got cut. Apparently, there has been text messages shown where this man made threats and made threats to
the
trainer or the other woman with pictures of her kids. Yeah, this boy gone full out nuts. And it's like, yo, he got fired, but they just played from last week. And then I heard about that. I was like, oh, wait, they have pictures? They got what? Threats?
Why would you? This ain't the Nokia snake phones, man. Like, yep. You sending pictures of her kids to her and threatening. It has to be the artist because I'm not judging, but the trainer don't look like she got no kids. Like she look like she's like mad young.
I haven't seen.
I think she was like they have a picture out there about the trainer. She looks. I think they said she was like 22, 23.
Hold on, I wonder if that's the picture that I saw today. Is it a young black woman?
Yeah. She's like 22, 23.
Okay, so that makes sense then.
I don't know if it's people can have kids any way they want.
Right.
You know what I mean? At any age. I'm not saying that, you gotta look like you 40 to have kids. But like, I don't know. I don't know what the other one looks like or whoever's kids it is, because it's the first time hearing of this, but you sending her pictures and threatening her? Like, what you thought was gonna happen? She's already pressing charges, man. Like, what? She's already going to the cops. So what do you think she's not gonna hand this to her lawyer? Like, yo, we got ammo.
It's like, look,
he's broke. I'm telling you that right now, he's broke. He's going to have to pay her now. All of this is going to be used in court for civil case, and the jury's going to look at it 1, 2, 3, yo. That's it.
I just hope he saved up all that money he made in Pittsburgh.
Bro.
Because he ain't made none. No, check it.
He's a dumbass.
He ain't made no money in Oakland.
Bro, he already posted so many pics in the past of how much money he spent on sneakers and wardrobes and all this other jewelry. I don't care if he still has money right now. He's gonna have to pay up for what he did to Shorty. That's gonna be a lot of money as it is. And then to keep that lifestyle up.
No, but the other reason why I say that, he has young kids. On Hard Knocks, they just showed his youngest must be like a year.
But how many kids he got?
Like maybe 2 or 3.
No, he might have 3 because I think when I saw that sneaker video, he had like 2. And you're saying the youngest is 1.
The youngest one looks like he's 1. He could be possibly 2.
Yeah, but the video I saw was probably like 3 years ago, 2 years ago. But even then, like that's dumb. That's honestly dumb. I'm sorry, like for you to get mad because the nigga. That's like saying, yo, the owner of my company got caught. The owner of the whole company. We're not talking about like, oh, it's some like chain and it's only the manager. I own the whole business, right? I got caught my wife in my office, right? And there's a strict no sexual actions at work thing.
Is that the girl?
I'm not sure. Let me see.
You might be able to zoom in, maybe.
It might be.
Done. Messed up now, Craig. Oh, but, by the way, he also tweeted he's done with the NFL.
The NFL's done with you. So that's like the thing that goes, you can't fire me. I quit. Like, no, you were fired.
In his words, will not be playing in the NFL anymore. These owners can cancel deals, do whatever they want at any time. We will see if the NFL Players Association hold them accountable. Sad they can just void guarantees.
Hold them.
Going on 2 months.
Yeah, you were supposed to read your contract. Nobody in their right mind, especially with NFL players' history of just like doing dumb shit, right, is going to go, oh, we're just going to give this millions of dollars when we're not going to guarantee that if he up, they have to cover their ass at the end of the day. I'm not about to hand out no free money to nobody. I'm not about to give you millions of dollars and then say, hey, 30 million is guaranteed, right? Or even if like that was his other contract, but like the contract he had with $9 million guaranteed, and you could do whatever you want. You could bring very big shame to this organization. You can commit murder. You can be in jail, and I still got to give you $9 million. What I look like?
Well, Aaron Hernandez almost got that too, because remember he
did. His daughter, I believe, if I remember correctly, his daughter's actually gonna get bread because he committed suicide.
Right, but the only thing with that is I think the family could still sue for money because of that whole situation. The family of one Odin Lloyd.
I'm not saying that that's not the case, but I'm talking about the player himself still got the bread for his family. Like,
because
like after he killed himself, his daughter guaranteed gets the money.
Because in his mind, like,
now they can sue, right? Mm-hmm. But then at this point, it's like. That's where it becomes very tricky because now it's about you suing a dead nigga. Like, you taking it out on the kid who has nothing to do any of this.
But at the same time.
No, but I'm saying that's where it becomes tricky. I'm not saying.
Okay.
I mean, they lost a family member.
True.
He got to choose to take his own life. The other nigga didn't choose to die. Like he didn't wake up that morning like, yo, I want to die today.
And that was the thing because with that whole clause about getting the money, had he stayed alive, his daughter wouldn't get any of it.
I know.
And I guess he knew somewhere within that.
No, he
had to have known.
He hit a corner. He knew what would happen in case, like, because he knew him staying in jail, his daughter's gonna have to suffer regardless. Like, she's not gonna have the money. She's not gonna have all that stuff that he would have, that she would have if he died. He understood that. I feel like he did, and I feel like that's what happened. In this case, like I said, if I get caught my wife at the company I own when I already wrote the stipulation that there should be no fraternizing sexually in the workplace, who's gonna fire me? Who's gonna fire me?
Well, technically the board can remove you.
No, there's no board.
Oh, well.
I own the company.
If you have a board.
Okay, and even if then, the board's not gonna fire me, because who you could report me to them, right? But then they're gonna, you know what happens? Rich people protect rich people. The NFL board will protect its owners as best as possible.
Not necessarily.
As best as possible.
Okay.
As long as you don't fuck up and do some racist shit.
Which one of them did, and he's
exactly. then you're fine. Literally, like, as long as you don't do something that makes all of the world look at you like, oh, you want some bullshit, or cause any type of racial, like, when racism, bigotry, and all these words start to be mentioned in whatever the you did, you asked out.
Especially when you have these stadiums, in most cases, towns where you're surrounded by nothing but minorities, because you're not putting them in white neighborhoods.
It's not even that. It's just 90% of your players are black. It's like, I'm not. It might mean it's not 90. It's more like probably 80, 60.
Nah, it's definitely more than 60.
It's like, no, I take it back. I meant to say 80 or 70. I apologize.
Oh, yeah, I'll probably
80, 75% of the players are black. I don't see how you think that'd be a good idea. But like I was saying, sexual stuff always turns into, as long as it's not rape, right? Sexual misconduct is like you rarely see. The most they'll probably do, and especially since it's a video, he went somewhere and received sexual favors, they'll fine him, suspend him or something. They're not going to kick his ass out the league. You, on the other hand, forced yourself. Okay, I'm going to stop saying it like I know for a fact. I'm just saying, too much of this crap that you're doing right now sounds like it's legit at this point. You behaving like you're guilty.
Yeah, I'm texting them emails definitely don't help.
It doesn't help. So at this point, you know what I'm saying, I think he just needs to stop trying to shift everything to make it seem like everybody else should, feel some type of way. At this point,
I feel like he shifted as much as he could, since now he's since the league is done with him, and he feels like they're done, so he says he's done with the league. At this point, all he can do is just fight that, because at this point, what do you have left?
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, when it comes down to it, for me personally, I just feel like that case for me is done. Like, in the beginning, like, people had the option to be like, I don't know, maybe it is true, maybe it's not, because the timing was very, very, like, on point, like, right as all this was happening. But then as things start to, like, completely rapidly unload, it's just like, at the end of the day, we're never going to know for sure what happened.
Exactly.
He could also be so ignorant that, this is just how he's reacting to it. He's not thinking. He's just like, you just fucked up my whole life with this lie and this bullshit. But, I mean, to be honest with you, history shows you the type of shit that normally occurs. History. This bitch is serious. History kind of. I said history, not hey Siri. And look, now when I say it, she don't want. Anyway, it repeats itself at times in the sense of showing you how you can watch and see similar characteristics and you're just behaving like a guilty man. I mean, there's more than one woman. You're sending threats, right? Now, I know I just said 2 seconds ago he could be just, overreact. I don't believe that, but I'm saying I'm just saying that to show we don't exactly know exactly what went down with anybody. But in my personal opinion, he's guilty as shit. Like, why am I sending you pictures and threatening your life and your kid's life? Unless I did something and you did go and tell the truth, and now I have to pay for it. But
yeah, so all in all, it's a crazy situation for him. I hope the truth comes out. If it doesn't come out, I hope whoever is telling the truth, it doesn't. I hope the truth comes out clear enough to others in the public eye.
You're right. Now we're gonna move into our next topic. Tekashi 6ix9ine. Yo, son, you know what's crazy? So what happened was last week, he actually, like the case started. So there are two co-defendants of his for the whole RICO charge they were giving the gang. And last week was when he gave his test. So technically speaking, he already did a plea deal, right? So it's imperative for him to give them the testimony to get the conviction for the last two remaining people who decide to go for a court case, to help him get, because right now he's sentenced to 47 years to life.
Jeez.
Okay, but here's this. With his testimony, if they deem his testimony pertinent to them getting a complete, solid conviction on those other two, right, from the jury, and they can max out their sentence, he can get anything from the bare minimum of time served and get out immediately, or to whatever number, I think, up until 47 years. Right? Or I think even after that, whatever they deem is a deal.
How much is a life sentence? Is life sentence like 80-something?
No, a life sentence, life. Like, you're not getting out.
No, but they say like
no.
this to life. That means
47,
life this.
47 to life, from my understanding, means after 47 years, you're eligible to go up for parole, and then apply to try and get out on parole. That's what happens. You have to, your bare minimum serve is 47 years.
It's a wrap.
Right? So life depends on the parole board. So you can go up every year from 47 to 100. And if they just keep saying, nah, like, you're dead. You're dead. You're just dead. You're done. You're going to die in jail. That's just it, right? So what happened was, people were like losing their shits over everything he was saying in his testimony, because he was mentioning, like, Jim Jones' name came up, Cardi B name came up, Casanova came up.
Boy, he ain't holding back, huh?
This other trippy red nigga name came up.
Whew.
But here's the thing. I think a lot of people took all those names he mentioned out of context, because what the Jim Jones thing is, people are going to be upset at me, but it's Jim Jones' fault that his name got brought up, because he got caught on a wiretap. Like, he got caught on a wiretap. The only reason his name got brought up is because they have him on a wiretap talking about Tekashi to another guy that already, I think, got sentenced. He took a plea deal about how to violate Tekashi, right? So, I mean, if you look at it that way, it's Jim Jones' fault his name got brought up. Not in the sense like he went out there like, y'all want my name in this, but because he got caught on a wiretap. If he didn't get caught on a wiretap, they would never asked about him.
He wouldn't even be in the discussion.
That's why they brought him up. They brought him up because the wiretap was part of the evidence. Yeah, I'm gonna beat the shit out of that air freshener. But as far as like Cardi B and all that other stuff, Cardi B's name being brought up wasn't about being a 9-tray blood. It was just about being a blood. Casanova and all these other people he brought up, I think it was more so for his how do you say, his relevance, because he has to prove his connection to the gangs to prove his worth in the testimonies anyway, for it to be credible anyway. Right? He was in court, and when you listen to the tape, he just sound like he's just in there chilling, like they asking him regular questions and he don't care, and he's like answering it. Here's what my thought is though on the situation. I honestly feel like Tekashi, high key, I feel like Tekashi was already a government informant before he became 9-tray blood gang members. Here's the only reason why. This is conspiracy theory time. Everybody get your tinfoil hats out, because I'm about to say some really crazy shit.
Okay.
Apparently, the government's been looking into Treyway since 2013.
Wow.
He's only, first of all, him and Treyway only got around each other 2017. Okay. Yeah. Eyebrows raised, right? They all got picked up exactly a year later in 2018, right? Okay, all right.
Continue.
Then after that, right, he immediately, the day after they get picked up, begins cooperating with the police, with the government, right, with the feds, right? So he basically already hit a plea deal from after he got picked up. That's fast as shit. That's first of all. Okay. Second of all, third of all, there's reports that they have footage. All the footage and evidence they have is like you're in the room with the gang. So somebody was like dead giving away information for the longest while this was going on. Another thing, video footage. You heard about, because I know you don't really care about niggas like Tekashi or whatever, but did you ever hear about his kidnapping situation?
Yeah. It was on the.
Dude, there's a video out of the actual kidnapping. Right?
Really?
I could tell you where in Brooklyn this shit happened. Like when I saw the video, I was like, hold up. That's over by South Brooklyn Church, right? I swear to God, right across the street by the big homeless shelter.
No way.
Based on the video footage, and I'm looking in the night, I'm like, yo, that looks like, because when it was like on Atlantic.
I was just about to say on Atlantic.
On Atlantic. It was on Atlantic itself.
No
so
way.
when I see the footage, it's like.
Near the train station?
No. Yeah, where the train goes underground, though.
I'm done.
So like South Brooklyn's right here, the homeless shelter's across the street, and Atlantic itself. Because remember, the train station pops out right there.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah.
But he's on the side where South Brooklyn's here and the homeless shelter's here. He's right next to the homeless shelter where they get pulled over. It's not a kidnapping in the sense of like he don't know who grabbed him. This nigga was talking to them in the video, right? But why was there a camera in the car already? Like why would there be a camera in the car? There's a camera all the way in the back of the car niggas ain't see. A small camera, and it's picking up the conversation audio-wise. There's another camera up on the dashboard. Like, it keeps swapping between what you call it. And I started thinking, like, what if they used him? Because the way he's operating right now, everything he's done screams the whole time he's telling people, suck my dick. He's acting like nobody can touch him. Nobody can touch you when the feds are behind you.
Right.
Nobody can touch you when the feds are behind you.
Of course.
You know who Jay Prince is? Jay Prince is one of the most scariest niggas in
You
hip
might
hop.
have mentioned that name.
No, not one of. Jay Prince is the scariest nigga in hip hop. Okay, the man had like Diddy. Like everybody said, Diddy slapped Drake. Right? Everybody said that. The man had Diddy tell everybody he never slapped Drake. He got no beef with him. Did you ever hear Drake have money issues with Birdman? Mm-hmm. Jay Prince is like the boogeyman of hip hop, son. And the crazy part is he doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't raise his voice. He talks very regular like this, very low, very calm, never screams, very monotone. And he's a very like from what I see, he's not a disrespectful dude. He's not the type to like yell and call you out your face. He's literally just the type to be like, I don't think you want to do that. No.
Okay, I know there's a rapper named Jay Prince. I'm like, yo, I know that name in my phone.
He has his son, Little Jazz Prince, I think they call him. And he has two sons. And Tekashi had beef with the two sons. Nobody's dumb enough to mess with Jay Prince like artists, much less his kids.
You never mess with it. All right, go ahead, continue.
Why would you do that?
Yeah,
the only other person that the only people that could somewhat like keep you from Jay Prince is probably the feds. Okay. But my thing is, dude, he organized for a hit in broad daylight on 42nd Street.
So I'm assuming that's not him.
Who?
Jay Prince.
No.
So there is a second Jay Prince, but he's
he ain't shit compared to unless he's related to a big homie Jay Prince. He ain't nothing.
Okay.
But he organized for a hit on another rapper that I think he used to be friends with.
Allegedly.
No, not allegedly. He had to admit to a lot of these things in order for the plea deal. He had to allocute. Like he had to admit to taking a charge for 9 counts of racketeering, shootings, organized hits, drug trafficking, gun trafficking, all the stuff he had to like plea to. He admit to organizing a hit on another rapper in broad daylight. He put out a hit for broad daylight, Times Square, 42nd Street.
Was that the one that happened like a year or two ago?
No, it never happened.
No, no.
No,
that was nighttime.
It didn't follow through. But it didn't get to follow through. But the fact is, like, you felt comfortable enough Because let's be honest, the niggas is gonna get caught.
There's a lot of cameras in
That's my point. And like, the government not playing with you, especially Times Square, and they know it's not no like terrorist shit. It's just some
post 9/11
nigga shit.
Post
That's the
9/11.
point. That's the point. All of Manhattan is in SVU, and you see how much times they pull these cameras just to catch niggas for like kidnappings. You're about to commit murder, and guaranteed you hood niggas ain't got no aim. So let's be honest, like, these are niggas that shoot from the hip in Modern Warfare. like you seriously sat down and organized a hit, and after you organized the hit, you ballsy enough to do it on 42nd Street in broad daylight. That tells me two things. You really don't care.
Nothing to lose.
And you must really feel safe doing so, because the feds are going to catch you. Unless you organized it to set these niggas up to get arrested. My thing is, I feel like, high key, because the way he's moved all the time was telling everybody to suck his dick and all this other crazy shit. It's like, the only reason you're going to move like that is if you feel like you Teflon proof, like nobody could touch you. And even the way he's talking in court, everybody thought he'd be scared and all that other stuff. This nigga sounds confident as shit. Like
I'm good no matter what.
And the crazy part is, come to find out, he's being treated different than anybody, because they said they brought him through a secret tunnel nobody knows about to the courtroom to testify. He's in an undisclosed location where high valued targets and informants working with the feds and people high priority who are in danger of dying if they go to a regular prison situation are held. All of this stuff adds up to me as if, like, sounds
like witness protection.
Here's the crazy part that made me really think, like, yo, he's thing in this. It's because he beat that. He also had a rape charge, statutory rape charge
for the
young girl, right? No, it was out here, I think. No, it was out here.
Oh.
And
maybe they arrested him in Texas.
He beat that.
He beat that.
And because all he got was, I think, community service. He didn't even have to go to jail.
What? I'm done.
I think that's all he got was community service, and that was it. Here's my thing, though. Once again, a whole big group of niggas was brought down in that one, too. Because she was among a bunch of niggas, and he was claiming he happened to just be there, and they took a picture, and the girl was there. And the girl was like 14, 15. And everybody else there, I think he had just turned 18, or they arrested him when he was 18, but he was 17 at the time or some shit. Everybody else there was over 18. He was there with a bunch of older niggas. In court, they're asking him about his work experience. Tell me why for 2 years he worked. He said he worked somewhere where he was dealing with, like, some law office or something.
So he knows.
So he was working with some attorney's office or some shit, doing like cases and whatever the case is. I think he said he did like for like a year or something like that, a year or 2 years.
So I'm starting to point.
The feds said that they said the feds had been investigating Knight Treyway since 2013. He's entered into the gang in 2017.
So
a year later, they all get taken down. It only took 365 days. Exaggeration. A year is not exactly 365 days from the date, but a year later they take him down. And he starts working immediately the day after, and now they got damn near. And niggas is getting crazy sentences.
Yeah.
Crazy sentences. It's not like. So
not
like
5 years, 10 years.
And the crazy part is, I feel like he's been working with the feds before he got there. I think I would go as far to say is, I feel like to a degree he might even have been put into their thing to get that opportunity, even though they were basically just using him as a money funding for the gang. Like, that was his role. You know what I'm saying? Because he was too confident. He was way too confident. And they're sending death threats to his sister and all this other shit. But it's like, I don't know, man. Like I that's my honest opinion. I just feel like this whole shit is like I've never seen this before. Out of all my years growing up watching the music industry and hip hop and stuff, I've never seen this in hip hop before. Like niggas' names is getting mentioned that everybody's like, where did Jim Jones name come from, son?
Yo.
Why is Cardi B? The memes had me dying, son. My boy marked himself safe during the Tekashi.
Yo, you think that's bad? I seen a meme where it said breaking news. Tekashi knows where Tommy's last job was. Tommy from Martin. Like, it's been getting crazy.
Yo, this nigga.
Like, think about that. Tommy doesn't even know where his last job was.
Nigga
And they said Tekashi knows where his last job was.
Tekashi said that Kirk Franklin is Plies. I was like, what?
Yo.
This shit is funny, but it's also scary. I mean, I know I just put the tinfoil hat on, but you know that's just me. I always like going on the conspiracy theory chain, but I mean, in reality, I don't know what's going on. Like, he feels comfortable. I feel like they've worked out some kind of deal with him where like he might get off on time served, and I think there's something implemented for him. That's why he's doing it. But let's don't get it twisted though. Like, niggas out here mad at him. Like, these niggas didn't organize murders of other people. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm sorry. I just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. But granted, I do agree with the notion that when you get involved with this life, right, and you decide to start snitching on the niggas that you operating with, that's when I think it's not cool. Because you accepted you accepted an oath when you decided, yo, I'm gonna mess with this. You know what I'm saying?
All right, you knew what you were getting into.
Exactly. So why would you turn around and then snitch to get yourself out if you took this oath? So my thing is it messed up he snitching? Yeah, okay, cool. It is kind of messed up. But to a degree, dude, you fucked my girl, and then y'all niggas just kept robbing me. And the reason I'm saying that is y'all punked me from the beginning into being y'all money bitch. What the fuck you thought was going to happen when we got caught? Like, if you punked me, you think the feds ain't going to punk me even easier? All you going to do is beat my ass up and rob me. Worst case scenario, you're going to shoot me, right? Okay, that is pretty bad. They can fuck my life up and everybody I care about way worse than you can.
Yeah, true.
Okay?
It's the government.
Okay? They can turn around, fuck me over, squeeze me dry, and then toss me in the streets for you to still turn around and kill me.
Chris Rock said it best in Head of State. We're the government. We could do whatever we want.
It's crazy. So I mean, I'm gonna keep watching this, and I'm interested to see how this plays out, because apparently people don't know if he's gonna testify again. They think he might be done, but they might bring him back.
I think they're gonna keep him up there as long as they want to, because it's up to them.
Because I think they got a lot of the pertinent information they got. He explained what his role was, who did what, and who was what. So we're waiting to see. We're gonna, see how that goes for them. But long story short, I mean, what can you do? I mean, you do the crime with some soft ass nigga. What's gonna happen? Staying in the realm of rappers that do shit sometimes that get me. I know we both watched that whole panel discussion with Killer Mike, T.I., and
I have thoughts on that.
and everybody else, right? And
the Revolt summit.
Yeah, and that whole thing got me pissed and annoyed, right? The only person who really pissed me off was, I can't say the only person who pissed me off. Two people to me had major points, and I felt like it would have been, I think, way more productive to have two people up there specifically. Killer Mike and what's her name?
Candace Jones.
Candace, right? Because I felt like a debate or a discussion between the two of them was way more productive than having a discussion with everybody that was up there. I don't know who that other nigga was. I don't remember his name.
Steven. Whoever he is.
Why he's up there, I don't know. I feel like he might be somebody. Uncle, cousin, something.
I don't know. He wasn't even saying much.
Hold on, please. Wait. Everything. Yo, son. The devil is a liar, son. But anyway,
Steven was irrelevant.
He's somebody's nephew.
I don't know who he is.
I don't know this guy. He didn't say anything.
He ain't say nothing.
But
I want this. I want that. I want to hear this. I want to see this.
Who got me upset the most? T.I. I don't know who elected him to be our like Martin Luther King of today, but he don't say nothing. Like I'm listening to him talk, and it's just like he has a list of words he remembers for each day from the dictionary, and he just spews them out. Because like, and not only that, what I felt was more evident than anything else there is he talks so much, he doesn't keep track of the shit he says. Because, and he's a hypocrite. Because when she started talking,
Candace.
Yeah, when Candace started talking, he goes to interrupt her immediately. Mind you, she sat there, let everybody else say their piece or whatever the case is. All right. Then, when she says a microcosm of something, makes a noise while he was attacking her, by the way, he's quick to tell her and check her and say, yo, like, you interrupted me, I didn't interrupt you. And the first thing I was like, yes, you did. Okay, that's first of all. Let's get that out the way. And his first thing to do is to always just bark, and just like, see, I feel like he talks for claps.
That's exactly what I was saying. That's exactly how I felt when I was watching it. Because he wasn't saying anything, but just how black people in general feel about a certain topic. When they don't know too much about it, they just go off of what they hear and what they see. And it was just like, dude, you're not saying anything but just what we felt. So it's just like, oh, Republicans are the one that helped put billions of dollars into HBCUs. How could you work with Republicans when they're racist? You didn't just hear anything I just said. All you heard was the word Republican, and you automatically just clicked, ooh, racist. You didn't say anything, but you didn't hear anything either.
I completely agree. I mean, he really just like, he says a lot of the stuff that I feel like people who don't know what they're talking about, in the general public who doesn't understand everything or doesn't have all the facts, or that has none of research or any of that says. I feel like I could kind of identify with Candace in some ways, in the sense that like I've gotten into heated discussions with people where I'm stating facts and they're just talking off of emotion, right? And they don't like the fact that I have facts, so then they resort to like ignorance. Like when I'm talking to you in an argument and I'm laying out facts in discussion and you talk about bullshit and all, you've already lost. In the eyes of an intellectual human being, somebody who's actually capable of holding a discussion, you've already lost. Because when you resort to all that ignorant antics and crap in the middle of us talking, that means you don't even you've already exceeded your knowledge on the subject.
Right.
You have nothing else to offer in the subject. You have no rebuttal to anything or the new information I've offered or evidence. And the crowd reflected that ignorance. Because even when she was saying certain things where you can actually go fact check, and the perfect thing was, she said a bunch of stuff. They're booing her. Nobody's hearing what she says. Mm-hmm. Killer Mike then says exactly what she was saying.
Not only that, Killer Mike also pointed out, y'all booing her now, but Louis Farrakhan said the same thing for the past 20 years, and y'all clap whenever he says it.
So it's crazy, man. It's like, when I was younger, I was probably like 12, 13, and we was at church, and I'm going to bleep this name out, but Erica was supposed to be giving like a little sermonette when we were kids. And I'll bleep this next name out. Leah then said to me, I was talking smack about, man, they got her up there, da-da-da. And she says to me, sometimes you got to ignore the messenger and just take the message. Right? And that stuck with me since I was like 12. Right, mind you, she said that to me at 12. Right, so she always acted like a grown ass adult at that age anyway. But
she was
But
always,
that stuck with me forever, to the point where now I go through life like, what is the message, right? Because any message can come to you through anybody, but it's like, how much do you think the message is more important than the person giving you the message?
Right.
She sat up there and stated a bunch of facts, right? People might not want to hear it, and guess what? It is what it is. The truth hurts. The truth ain't supposed to be sunshine, rainbows, and everybody agree with it. That's not how that operates. And what I didn't like was the fact that as she was talking, they let everybody else speak because they're hearing what they want to hear.
Right.
Nobody's saying nothing. Everyone already went there with the preconceived notion. If they knew she was, I don't know how it operated, but they knew she was coming. They already went there with the preconceived notion that they wanted to shit on her.
Right.
They wanted to show her that.
Her and that other girl, the really light-skinned one that I don't remember her name at all.
Yo,
forgive me for that.
Forgive you nothing.
She made some points that were like against what everybody else was feeling, kind of just like Candace also, but she was coming at it from a way that we couldn't relate to, because she was like, "Oh, as a black mother, it's like, why don't you just say as a black person?"
Not even that, just
or black parent.
It's not even that. It's just like she started every sentence or every other sentence with "as a black mother." I mean, I'm not trying to be funny because I'm black, but I mean, I'm light skinned, right? There's a known, kind of like divide because of that. But, and it's not even to, I'm just saying that to say, like, you keep saying as a black mother, and it's like, why do you feel like that's supposed to automatically just validate whatever's coming out your mouth next? Like, we're all supposed to just be like, because you know what it is in the black community, mothers are like held at like a high regard, right? Right. So I felt like she was just trying to hold on and. Right. Like she felt like she had to keep reminding her she's black and she's a mother, and the biggest thing is nowadays that people are talking about is our sons are getting killed in the street, and she, the only point that she made that I could actually sit down and be like, okay, I 100% take that for what it is and say, yo, she's right on something, is the lack of male leadership, like right. that big empty void of black leadership. As far as it goes for everything else she was saying, I felt like she was like dancing around the bush and not making solid points or pinpoint direct points, right. And just piggybacking off of Candace, right? Whatever she was saying.
Because she did make a keynote somewhere on the lines of, she doesn't understand how black people always want to stick around with Democrats when it's Republicans who are always like funding out money. When they made some note about like environment zones or some other zones or something like that for money coming into certain impoverished areas, and she made some sort of note in the sense of Democrats don't put up as much as Republicans do, and Candace was like, say that one more time just so that everybody else could hear it, because I didn't say it. They're still not clapping for you, but just say it one more time so they know exactly who you're talking about.
It's crazy because, like, okay, people talk about education, mm-hmm. right? And they talk about like how schools are expensive and things of that nature. The funny thing is, I took 2 separate trips up to Albany, right, when I was in college, to go see the people who dealt with TAP, financial aid, Pell Grants, all the free money that you could get towards school, right? Okay. Responsible for HUOP, which is a program where they pay for your schooling depending on your income and all these other factors that go into it. And both times I went, mm-hmm. 2 years apart, everybody's Republican. And I'm finding this out in passing. Like, it's not even like I'm asking, like, yo, where are you from? Because we want the point is to go up there to say thank you so that hopefully they won't shut down the program. Right. And when you're talking to them, they're actually fighting to keep the programs open and then open more programs to try and get more money and figure out how to get more money in. Most of them are Republican. I'm not saying Democrats ain't doing nothing or, Democrats are just, that's not a problem for them. I'm just saying, like, to paint the Republican Party on a whole as just like this racist, want to keep black people down kind of thing is ridiculous. I think people forget that the parties flip-flopped back and forth throughout the years of the early history of America.
Right.
And do I agree that
Matter of fact, wasn't Clinton a Republican?
No, they were Democrats.
That's weird. Okay.
They were Democrats, but they're basically what black people. And you know what's the crazy part? This is another thing I want us to stop doing. I want to stop saying black people. I want to say we, period. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it's a separation between people who feel like they're woke and then judging the rest of our race, right?
Right.
So we voted for them. We believe that they were like, oh, for the black people. But then they turn around and are responsible for the mass incarceration of the black male in the 90s. And then people got mad at me for saying I'm not voting for Hillary Clinton. And you know who got mad at me? This is the best part. White hipsters in Brooklyn who wanted to tell me, basically indirectly telling me because I'm black, I should definitely vote for. I'm like, I'm not voting, period, right now. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because neither one of these guys are good. Like for me, from based on what I see, the way they're running their campaigns and the way Trump was running his campaign, I wasn't really with it, right? And for Hillary, it's more that I just don't like Hillary. I just don't care for Hillary Clinton at all. I feel like she's been so praised, especially by black females. Because my mom got mad at me. Because I was like, I'm not voting for Hillary. You know, I have not voted yet. Ever.
Really?
Ever. Because here's what. Everybody's going to hate me right now. Okay, we might lose anybody who plans on watching this podcast again. It's about to die before it started.
I'm done.
I didn't vote. My first available time to vote, right? Because Obama's first term was when I was just about to graduate high school.
2004?
No. 2009.
2008, sorry.
No, it was 2009, I think. No, 2008, yeah, 2008, right? I turned 18 after his election. Like after he got elected. I start college. So his second term is when I'm allowed to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's like, yo, you gonna vote? And I was like, nah. Everybody's like, why? And I was like, because I didn't follow the election. I'm not going to blindly just fucking vote. Because he's black. Like legit, that was, nobody wanted to admit it, but that's the only reason they were saying to me.
I can guarantee it. At least 90% of black people who voted for Obama probably voted for him just because he was black.
No, of course.
Me included. I'm not even going to lie to you.
I'm not mad at nobody for that, right?
Right.
But I'm not like, and then people go, oh, that's not. And I'm like, so give me some of his policies. Give me something from his policies as to what makes you want to vote for him. What makes you think I should cast my vote on him? Nobody could ever answer my question. They had an intervention for me. I swear to you, in college, I was at school, and this girl said, oh, you going to vote? I was like, nah, I'm not voting. And then, you know what's funny? I love when people try to tell you about yourself and why you don't do something. Oh, you're just a rebel, right? It's because you're a rebel. And I was like, no, it's because I have my own fucking head on my shoulders. I don't sit here and just do something because everybody's telling me to do it. I literally said, I did not follow this man's policies. His last term, I don't feel like enough was done necessarily for me to be like, oh, you know, it's beyond because he's black.
You know what's funny? You saying that just now, we only started hearing about this after he left. Or just as he was leaving.
But I was saying that the whole time, and everybody was looking at me like, I was like, yo, like, to be honest with you, okay, because y'all hyping it up. Because I couldn't vote for the first one, right? So in high school, of course, at that time, I was a little more invested in like, oh, man. But that year, between those 4 years while he was in office, right?
Mm-hmm.
I started to pay attention more. It's funny because it made me pay attention more to
politics.
Not necessarily politics, but our current climate for politics.
Okay.
And as I was paying attention to it, I was looking for certain things that I wasn't seeing. First of all, biblically, me and your brother, rest in peace. First thing we said, the Saturday after he got elected, we was like, yo, this guy's a lamb-like beast. That's the first thing we said. And the reason
But that's not the case, though. But that's
no,
your
but
fault.
that's the first thing we thought because
it would have made sense.
Why did he cross over into church topics?
It made sense.
We're in church. Why? I didn't come to church to hear about the president.
It makes sense. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then everybody across the world celebrated his election.
True.
And I was just like, nah, this is real, you know. And like I said, I watched closely. I didn't see anything special different from him necessarily from the next person.
Right.
Now, after his second election, this is what got me laughing. They gave me the thing. Nobody gave me policies. Nobody could give me anything, right? So that after that, and intentionally, I started walking around class like, yo, vote for Mitt Romney, right? So, like...
Of all people?
And it was like, yo, you voting? I was like, yeah, I'm voting for Big Mitt, Illuminati. I just kept walking around. I was like, Killer Romney, Big Mitt, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, my God.
And, like, everyone started to get mad at me because they're like, yo, you're such a cynic. It's not even, like, it's unnecessary. They shitted on Mitt Romney, said, yo, he's stupid. He ain't got no plan, right? Okay, cool. I don't necessarily, I don't agree. I didn't agree with, you know, Mitt Romney's whole thing, but Obamacare is Mitt Romney's health care plan he had when he was in charge of Massachusetts, right? Okay. Statewide. Obama basically just took it and just made it on a national scale. That's literally what happened. And I'm like, the same person, y'all all champion in this. And the same person y'all said was dumb, didn't know what the hell he was doing. Oh, why would you vote for that idiot? If he was that much of an idiot, why did Obama take something that he was doing and then tweak it to try and make it on a national scale?
Which, by the way, is no longer in effect right now.
I mean, let's be honest. I'm not trying to play him on that, right?
But it wasn't his idea,
intent,
so there's no way he could.
The intent, I guess, was good, but there's no way for America's too far into capitalism for something like that to work for the whole country like that. Healthcare for the whole country, free healthcare for everybody. The way America operates right now, the amount of jobs that would exactly be lost and all that. It's like I can see that there's no possible. We've screwed ourselves over so greedy into like wanting different things that there's no way you're telling me that this is gonna happen. Mm-hmm. But I mean, look, long story short, watching that panel discussion showed me what a nigga and a black person looks like.
Dude, and that's the thing, because I was checking that out. Yeah, you might as well just, because it's going to. But that's the other thing, because I was listening to that panel. That Steven dude was a wasted panelist. T.I. was a wasted panelist. Killer Mike had a lot of thoughts that opened my eyes into ways that we should be thinking and how we currently think. Like when he pointed out Candace arguing, T.I. arguing, that girl Tamika on the far left arguing, and he was like, "Look, this is the perfect case of us trying to say who has the best master." And I was like, And then he said, "Hold on, I'm not done." And he further explained it piece by piece. So it wasn't like, oh, he just went for a grab to make people clap. He was like, all right, I said this. Now you're going to listen to why I said this. And he fully explained it piece by piece. Where look, all this is all coincided together. He owns you. You are owning this. You are by far representing this one thing. Now you over there, you're representing another thing. So now you're bickering between the two. Who's doing that, who's doing that. But at the same time, those two masters are coinciding, working together to keep you down.
I mean, I agree with that whole two masters thing. The only thing I think is I've always said this. Republicans and Democrats are two hands on the same body.
Exactly.
So it's just like when people start to argue, and I always tell people that, they're like, oh, I'm like, yo, I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republican. It's whoever has the best plan. Right? Whoever has the best plan, that's who I would, when, you know, if I was to vote, would have to be. I'm not gonna just throw my vote in just because I have to pick either or. Like I don't deal with that kind of. That's no longer the power of voting. Now it becomes you got to pick which one you want. Lesser of two. I hate the comment lesser of two evils. I'm not picking the lesser of two evils. I'm picking good or I'm picking bad. I'm not picking the lesser of two evils. Now here's where people fail to realize you have to start this whole process from the local level. So. People only care every 4 years. People only only care every 4 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it's like
they don't even check every 2 years.
They don't.
Every 4.
It's only for the president election, and it's funny because you'll have more power
on the 2.
Exactly.
And that's one thing. That's one thing I'm very grateful that my parents kept telling me about. It's like, look, you need to worry about every 2. You need to worry about the general elections more than the national elections because these people locally affect you. So when, all right, snow's out, you can't get to work because there's 12 inches of snow outside. Is your block going to get plowed with dirt or is it going to get plowed with salt?
Not only that.
Is your roads going to get fixed? Are your traffic lights ever going to get fixed?
Local, technically, to some degree. Like, okay, the government could pass a national law, but the states have to enforce it. So,
exactly.
like, you can come up with the local level where it's like, oh, we want this. You start with that. And then from there, you can get it all the way up to the national level.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem is that we too busy arguing about how to get there that nobody's focusing on, like, no. Everybody's arguing about who should get in the car first, who should be driving, what kind of gas to put in it, instead of focusing on where we're going. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, in all honesty, when I was listening to that, I watched, and I'm about to make this some shit, but I watched a black man tell a black woman on TV, well, not TV, it was videos, Revolt, that's some, you telling me some bullshit.
And the funny thing with that is,
when's the last time you seen T.I. talk to a white lady like that?
Not only that.
I'm just saying, like, he sat up there like he understands the struggle. You don't understand the struggle. I don't care what nobody says. You don't understand the struggle. You have not been in the hood in how long? Right? I don't care if you go back to visit. I don't care if you go back to give stuff away. I don't care if you go back. To me, to be completely and totally honest, you're not going to sit there in front of me with a blinged out diamond chain and tell me all of that ain't for a facade.
Not only that, a black man can never say he understands the struggles of a black woman.
Yo, the most misrepresented, mistreated, and disrespected and undervalued people in the world. I wouldn't say the world because I don't know about everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say
in our world,
in America, for sure, is the black woman, which is wild to me. Like it's wild to me because it's like, you really sitting up here. First of all, here's my point. Like, ain't nothing wrong with shining, but I don't really wear jewelry like that. This is the only thing I own, and the only reason I own it is because 3 important women in my life have some element on this. This was for my wife. This is for my sister and my mom. Right? It's not blinged out, and even then, why are you coming blinged out with a big ass pendant on your neck to have a discussion?
This ain't no fashion show.
And people might think, oh, that's just superficial for you to look at it. But for me, I've learned in life, it's the thing. It's not what people say, but it's the little things they do and little nuances that people overlook that all come from a lack of thought or a thought process.
Very true. Right?
And people think that you're supposed to only judge people on the way they think. But the fact that you don't think about certain things to me in a comment he made, T.I., when he was like, oh, from these what you call it, zones.
Damn
near
environmental zones.
Ain't nobody what he said
somebody from outside.
No, he said something along the lines, paraphrasing, but that if anybody he's like, damn, if anybody else going benefit from it if it ain't gonna be me. And I was like, I don't know how to say this other than he just annoys the hell out of me, yo. Like when every time I hear him talk, I try to listen to see if there's something there, and there's never anything there. It's always like repeated, redundant comments that have nothing to do with they always contradict. He always contradicts. If you let him talk long enough, he contradicts himself. Mm-hmm. And he's talking about you let a person talk long enough and they'll show you blah, blah, blah. They'll show you who they are.
And going back to the BS comment, he said, like, oh, everything you saying is BS. She flipped it on him because then later on, the other girl, Tamika, said something, and then Candace came right back. So, remember what you said before. Now you seem to be coming alongside what I was saying, and now look at this. If I had to just say it my way, I just say it like this. Oh yeah, I'm out of the hood. I'm alright, but you know what? This is bull. And he's like, you know, and the Killer Mike says, you know what's funny? You actually would be a good rapper if you actually tried. And then T.I. went right along, but it's like, dude, she literally just took everything you said, waited her turn, and flipped it on you.
T.I. doesn't have any, like, official, I don't think T.I. has actually found himself. I think T.I. has an ideal of what he would like to be. He fantasizes about the things that he would like to represent. But to be honest with you, I wouldn't follow T.I. I wouldn't follow T.I. to a water fountain on a sunny day where the directions were pointing that way.
I'm done.
I wouldn't. Like, if I was thirsty, I wouldn't follow him because he seems to like just. I think he self-appointed himself. He wants the leadership role. He wants to be respected in that arena. And it's like the real leader of that of that whole conversation to me was Killer Mike. While they were arguing on stage and going back and forth and cutting each other off, which was started to me by T.I.
Totally, from the jump. From since Candace first spoke.
Yo, Killer Mike just sat there and listened. The whole time, son.
Not only that, he raised his hand when he wanted to speak.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yo, when he did that, I looked at you, I was like, yo, peep how everybody else just jumped in. And he was like, calmly like this, raised his hand and waited to be acknowledged.
And the other thing about that I noticed, on his Killer Mike has a show on Netflix for y'all. If y'all never seen it, y'all need to look at it. I only seen one episode so far. In the next episode, he was gonna do what he did on that show. Killer Mike did this experiment where he literally left his house and was only gonna do things or participate with activities that he needed to do if it was black owned. So, since his house wasn't necessarily from a black business, he didn't stay in his house. He literally slept homeless on a bench. When he wanted to get a fresh haircut for a concert he had to do, he went to a black-owned barbershop. When he wanted to buy food, he went to a black-owned business to get food. And with doing that, he ended up pointing out that, there aren't many of these establishments around. It's like, yeah, it's really only word of mouth because there's a lot of people who live in these neighborhoods, but yet they don't come by because they're either looking for discounts or handouts. But in the next episode they were going to show, he was talking to a couple of kids, maybe 5-year-olds, maybe first graders, and he was talking to this one black child about skin color, like how do you feel about being black and da 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 da, and then this white kid who's old, they're all together. This white kid then begins to interrupt, so he says, "Hold on, I'm gonna stop you right there, son. What you just did was inconsiderate because with you cutting her off in the middle of what he or she was saying." You're now making it seem like they're inferior to you and they should always be cut off in the future. Do you think that's acceptable? And the kid says, no. All right, so I'm gonna hope you don't do this again in the future. Him kindly just putting this kid out for the world to see, like, yo, don't cut someone off because that's rude and disrespectful. It shows you're not only just molding these kids' minds, but you're also teaching them at the same time why you shouldn't be doing certain things. And he showed that example right there by just saying, I'm just going to kindly wait until someone notices my hands up.
All of this conversation, I think we're going to wrap up. We don't want to keep you guys too long. But I think you're right. You know what I'm saying? I think there are ways to go about handling disagreements with how somebody's dealing with something. And I feel like we tend to lose sight of treating each other the way we want the rest of the world to treat us and trying to figure out who has it's almost like we're in competition to see who's going to have the right answer. Mm-hmm. And I think that we need to focus, because I don't want you guys to think that this is going to be like a race heavy, podcast situation, but this is something that I felt like we needed to address, seeing that we are both, men of color. I think that this is something that we're just going to have to keep working at, and be more open to each other and open to ideas and open to discussions and open to these type of platforms. It's just that I think we just need to select better leaders and people we put in these platforms.
And we can't be debating with our own selves. We have to have different people from different backgrounds, different demographics.
See, but I think that panel did have different things.
Well, yeah, but they were all black in a sense.
No, but
like if you have this conversation with, say, some whites, some Spanish, some Asians, it can open up the conversation a little more, which would also cause some, I wouldn't say confusion, but a little bit of parity and maybe some arguments.
But we have to get one unified situation first before we can have a conversation with somebody else. Because if we don't know what we're gonna be solidly, collectively understanding about, how am I gonna talk to you when, you know, like they always say, get your own house in order first.
My question,
I think that's what we're trying to do.
You think black people could ever be together with one
thing? But with that thought, we
No. That's not my thinking.
No, but but when I say that, I'm not saying that we have to all agree exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 goes in exact order all the time. I'm just saying that we need to find our
common ground.
Like Killer Mike said, what your good points are, and put it together. We're too busy focusing on what we don't agree on. Everybody's ignoring what we do agree on,
right?
You know? And I feel like once we can focus on what we agree on, just draw 2 circles, bro. And everything that lands in that middle section, boom, that's it. Now we're going to go ahead and deal with these things. That's not how it goes down. It goes down with, but hold up, you have this over here, and I don't agree with that. But I agree with my stuff. I'm over here. You're over here. Ignore this. We're just going to deal with the 2 separate sides. Leave it alone.
But that's a mentality thing that we have to learn to figure out and grow out.
And that's what I think these panels are for. I think they're good. I just feel like, I'm sorry, but I just don't see where T.I. fit in that whole thing.
I can agree with that. Him and that other Steven dude who's
I know I
just
seem
pretty
like
much
I'm nitpicking, but I've had a bone to pick with this guy for the longest. I felt like I was a fan of his music, but then it wasn't up until like maybe the last 2-3 years where I was just like, yo, I'm getting tired of this. Like, I just feel like, honestly, I just don't feel like it's 100% genuinely like motivated in the sense that he's trying to portray it as like he's just a natural leader. You can't want leadership. Mm-hmm. Like, real leaders are just elected leaders. You just naturally.
Or I just never
saw him as that.
Nah.
So like when you're trying to like use the whole, I'm gonna just use pontificate and all these other words for no reason. Like all you're trying to do for me is you're trying to establish some sense of superiority.
Right.
Because the same people y'all were talking about, y'all trying to represent, them niggas don't know what the hell pontificate mean. So I'm not gonna say all of them, but I guarantee most of them don't know what pontificate mean.
Like Candace said, 50% of them they couldn't find black kids who were
in California
up to literate par with conversation when it comes to reading and math. So if you're using all these big words like reciprocate and liberate, they could be like, oh, we think it's fighting or what? I don't understand you. And the whole conversation and the whole point of the topic could be just right over their heads.
I see exactly what you're saying. But, I mean, at least we ain't out here. Huh?
I think you had a buzz.
It's cool. So we're going to wrap this up. It was definitely a good one this week. Hopefully we'll see you guys again next week.
I appreciate y'all listening to us
definitely rant. For like a good
if
hour.
You definitely have any conversations you would like us to talk about or topics, feel free to throw that to us.
We're going to have the Instagram linked in our own Instagrams as well. So thanks for checking us out on the Loose Change Podcast, and we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Peace.